and in our family, I think we had what 7 to 8 people with Nahuatl names, and it started off with my generation with I think the first one is my cousin Malquishochi, and then I have my two younger sisters, Ameyali, Sitlali. Also, we have my cousin's um, daughters, Shochi and Tonatsin, who was just born recently. Also, my nephew, Tlaloc. You know, all these names are Nahuatl names, and you know, we went on our own. We went our own way to put these names on them, and no one really influenced us from the outside or anything like that to say, "Oh, push anybody push these names." It was just something that from within us, we were proud of this language, and we felt that we should continue using these names once again. And a lot of people, they don't understand the reason behind this, but arts, the names that we have, the Spanish names, European names, and they don't belong to us. They were, really put on us to really erase who we are, that indigenous identity. And by us, you know, giving ourselves indigenous names, we are kind of reclaiming that. We're taking that power back away from them, their ability to, you know, name us with the last names of slave masters, and you know, use a foreign language to 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 tell to express who we are, and we're proud of this, and I think we will continue. More people, more children who are being born will be given Nahuatl names, and maybe some of us will be willing to even change our names legally. I'm interested in doing this, and I think I will go ahead and do it. It's a big step for me, but I have the support of my family and of you guys, and I think I will go ahead for it. And also, on top of having the foods and the practice of getting together with our family and the Nahuatl names, some of us did gain some stories from our ancestry. An example is my cousin Josue. His grandmother, not our grandmother from Xochimilco, but his grandmother on his mother's side, he was very close to her, and as a young child, I remember him telling me that she used to tell him a lot of stories, like, I think that you would say, mythological stories. A lot of people will say those stories are not myths; they're real. But a lot of these stories that she gave to him, and that is a form of preserving our culture, our heritage. His grandma was passing on these stories, and she picked him because they had a close relationship. And I have my cousin here, and he will tell one of his stories. Now that we heard the story of my cousin Josue, um, you can see that the stories that my family carry, the food, the names, the cultural practices, it's evident. You can see that we still carry a lot of indigenous traits in our family and our culture, and but still, that's just a part of our entire heritage. And actually, there's a lot of our heritage that we don't know about, and this includes our ancestors' accomplishments. And a lot of these accomplishments have been held from us, and has kind of been twisted. I like to bring attention that it seems like every time people talk about the Aztecs or the Mexica, but falsely called the Aztecs or the Mayan, they always start the discussion with human sacrifice, as if when we talk about Aztecs, Mexica, or Mayan, human sacrifice is automatically associated with them. And I had to say that this is something that the colonizer, the Spanish, and an educational system also has perpetuated this idea of correlating Aztecs to human sacrifice. And uh, my opinion on this is that we are judged more than everyone else for this practice of human sacrifice. Um, almost all cultures in the world have practiced human sacrifice, and I'm not condoning it, but what I'm saying is that um, what we did is exaggerated. It makes it seem that it was something very savage and brutal, and it justified the Spanish to come in and to get to destroy us because we were a savage people due to these practices. And the truth is that we've been judged unfairly, and even the topic of human sacrifice is a very deep issue, and it takes a lot of knowledge to study and learn about this. And so on that end is that we shouldn't be judged for as much as we are as we get judged, and the topic of human sacrifice shouldn't be the first topic people talk about. But I would like to teach you guys, and that if somebody does come, and talk to you about, oh, your ancestors did human sacrifice, to tell them the truth is that everyone did human sacrifice, and that does not make us any better than anyone, or that it's okay. Is that we're just being judged a lot more for it than everyone else. And what what it really does is it covers up what the Spanish were doing. The Spanish were committing genocide. They were raping our people, stealing our land, and all we can think about is Aztec sacrifice. So you know, it's really just a way to to distort the truth, and to, instead of us thinking about our genocide, we think about how our ancestors were savages and committed human sacrifice, and we won't want to identify with that. But I would like, on the other hand, we do have a lot of accomplishments, and that's a large part of our heritage, a large part of what we don't know about. And you spend the rest of your life studying our accomplishments, or even just indigenous people overall in the whole entire Western Hemisphere, studying their accomplishments. They did a lot of things, and have a long history here, and you can spend lifetime studying that. And one of my favorite accomplishments that I like to emphasize, that the Mexica's people in Mexica's state, they were the first ones to establish mandatory public education for all peoples. Didn't matter if you're rich or poor, or what gender you were. Everybody got the right to a public education, and you know they were very smart people, and artistic people. And if you compare that today, what we look like in the educational system in the United States, is that we have a very poor rate of graduation, of transferring to college. And the reality today is that we are not those people, those scholarly people, or just people who have more respect for their traditions, their cultures, their ancestors, and and believe that everyone should be educated, and that that help contribute to everyone's overall well-being. And also, they did a lot of things. I mean, they built astronomical observatories. They built the most accurate calendar in the world, and going back with the Olmecs. And there's many great civilizations that existed before the Mexica, and a lot of our heritage comes from them. It's not just the Mexica; it goes all the way back to the Olmecs. And you know there's a lot of information out there, and it could be confusing sometimes. You can't always trust all the information that you get, but you should take your time to study something that interests you, that you might have a question about, and try to look at that interest, look at that idea from different perspectives, from different people, from different sources. And you have to be the one to really conclude, what do you think, what do you think it is, and how it relates to you. And that's part of the education that that I emphasize, that it's a tradition, it's a ritual that we used to do. And it was very sacred. We had libraries, we had we had a lot of writings and literature. So it's not, it's nothing that, that we haven't done before, and it's nothing that we can't do. He makes the eagles and ocelots dance with him. Come see the Huexotzinca. On the days of the eagles he shouts out, loudly cries the Mexica. The battlefield is the place where the once toast and divine liquor in war, where are stained red the divine eagles, where the tigers howl, where all kinds of precious stones rain from ornaments, where wave headdresses rich with fine plumes, where princes are smashed to bits. There is nothing like death in war, nothing like the flowery death, so precious to him who gives life. Far off I see it, my heart yearns for it. And they call it Teotihuacan because it was the place where the lords were buried. Thus they said, when we die, truly, we die not, because we live, we will rise. We will continue living, we will awaken. This will make us happy. Thus, the end, thus, the dead one was directed when he died. Awaken already, the sky is rosy. Already dawn has come. Already sing the flame-colored guans, the fire-colored swallows. Already the butterflies fly. Thus the old one said, that who has died become a god. They said, he has been made a god there, meaning he has died. Even jade is shattered, even gold is crushed, even Quetzal plume are torn. One does not live forever on this earth. We endure only for an instant. Will flowers be carried to the kingdom of death? Is it true that we are going? We are going. Where are we going? Aye, where are we going? Will we be dead there, or will we live yet? Does one exist again? Perhaps we will live one. Perhaps we will live a second time. Thy heart knows. Just once do we live. Like a quetzal plume, a fragrant flower. Friendship sparkles like heron plumes. It weaves itself into finery. Our song is a bird calling out like a jingle. How beautiful you made it sound. Here among flowers that enclose us, among flowery boughs, you are singing. The earth is a grave and nothing escapes it. Nothing is so perfect that it does not descend to its tomb. Rivers, rivulets, fountains, and water flow, but never return to their joyful beginning. Anxiously they hasten on the vast realm of the rain god. As they widen their banks, they also fashion the sad urn of their burial. Filled are the bowels of the earth with pestilential dust, once flesh and bone, once animate, bodies of men who sat upon thrones, decided cases, presided in council, commanded armies, conquered provinces, possessed treasure, destroyed temples, exalted in their pride, majesty, fortune, praise, and power. Vanished are these glories, just as the fearful smoke vanishes that belches forth from the internal fires of Popocatépetl. Nothing recalls them but the written pages.